just take over everything. So we have minutes here. If you guys want to approve those minutes beforehand, Heidi, you've seen the minutes, haven't you?
Yes, I have.
Perfect.
Okay.
Good answer, Heidi.
I will make a motion to approve the
I'll
minutes.
second.
All right, so it's been motioned and seconded. All those in favor to approve the minutes?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay, so the minutes are approved. So I'll just call this Board of Adjustments meeting to order. Pretty much the variance process would go, use the applicant would state exactly what you're doing. The Board of Adjustments would then ask questions. You would just answer them. We would then go to variance findings of facts and the criteria for granting variances, and we'd approve or deny the variance based off those findings of facts. Since this is a public meeting, we'll just go ahead and say everyone's names out loud to make sure that everyone's on the minutes. And then if you have something to say, make sure that only one person's saying it at a time, and if there's someone new, state your name. So if we want to start with you, Jim.
Jim Jorgenson, applicant.
Bruce Jorgensen.
Alex Schultz, planning and zoning.
Lisa Ferdine, planning and zoning.
Lindsay Cartwright, planning and zoning.
Brianna Wagner, Cottonwood, Soil and Water.
And then Heidi.
Heidi Hansen, planning and zoning.
Okay. So we'll just call the public hearing to order for Jim Jorgenson. I'll start by reading the public hearing notice. An application has been submitted by James Jorgenson requesting a variance required by Cottonwood County zoning ordinance number 28 for construction of solar tracker above the height restriction setback on the parcel of property described as the southwest quarter of the northwest quarter of section 27 Westbrook Township, Cottonwood County, Minnesota. A public hearing to consider said condition or said variance will be held by the Cottonwood County Planning Commission on December 10th, 2024 at 12:30 p.m. The hearing will be held at 210 10th Street, Winna, Minnesota 56101. For any questions, please call 507-832-8287. So now that we've heard the public hearing, we'll just kind of go straight into what you plan on doing. If you need the application, I can go grab it for you too. But you pretty much know what you're doing, so you can just kind of explain it, and then these guys will ask you questions.
Okay. My application is for a tracker solar array, and how this differs from probably many that you've seen ground mounted that are stationary. This one actually follows the path of the sun and is elevated off of the ground. One big advantage of this over a ground mount is it's more efficient because it follows the path of the sun, so it collects solar radiation right as the sun comes up on the horizon until it goes down. With that being said, I guess I could back up a little bit. One of the reasons why I'm doing this is I'm a believer in renewable energy. I had a wind turbine, and also I have some ground-mounted solar on my farm. All of these projects are on the property where I live, on the building site. Due to some technical failures, mechanical and in my opinion, engineering failures of my wind turbine, we can't get parts for them. The company has gone bankrupt, so we decommissioned my small wind turbine, took down the tower, and now my goal is to try to utilize the infrastructure of the underground lines. I have my electronics in a small utility shed at the base, and to use one of the pilings to mount my tracker solar system. And I didn't realize that, but there's, I guess, a height restriction on solar, and I would encourage the county and the board to maybe revisit the current ordinance. I think this is probably a wave of the future to have things off of the ground. They collect more solar radiation, so they're more efficient. And in addition to that, it leaves less of a footprint for us on Earth when it's overhead. It does have quite a few things, I think, integrated into it from a safety standpoint, well engineered, and the company continues to grow on the West Coast. Basically, I'm asking a variance. I believe I'm not sure what your height requirement is, Alex, but that's what the variance is about. As far as setbacks from the property lines, obviously I had a 160-foot tower there before that I took down, so I wouldn't think height would be an issue.
Yeah. So, the rule that he's applying for a variance for is under subdivision 6B for small solar energy farms for ground or pole mounted solar system shall not exceed 15 feet in height when oriented at maximum tilt. And if you look at these engineering designs, the minimum clearance underneath this small solar system is 14 feet. I think in the future, instead of changing that rule, we're probably going to just specify if they're reusing a wind tower, because this has happened before. This is my second personal variance application that we've gone through since I've been. There could have been a few more before. If they're reusing wind towers, we should maybe specify if they're reusing wind towers, there's going to be a new maximum height or a minimum height above the ground level. But that's for future. That'll be a future thing. As far as it is right now, we just have to either approve or deny the variance request that it will exceed 15 feet in height. So, does the Board of Adjustments have any questions?
What is the height of it again when it's laid flat?
I believe it's, don't quote me, but I think it's approximately 22 feet when it's flat.
Partially quote you.
What's that?
Gonna have to partially quote you on that a little bit.
Well,
Give or take.
Approximately 22 feet. I guess I could maybe pull.
No, that's
maybe
okay.
access that
It
with
says
my
21 in
phone.
here. I missed that part.
It
21.
could be in your, it should be in the drawings.
During non-operable hours, height is 21 feet. Is that
21.
what? Okay,
That would be
that's
flat.
flat. All right.
That's also the same position that it goes in a fail-safe mode during high wind events.
What? We get wind? Sorry.
Oh my.
Yeah. What do they consider high wind?
That can be modified. I believe it is, and some of that has to do with location in the U.S. But I believe this one is originally set up around 25 mile an hour. So
anything under that,
right,
then it's good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
That's not bad.
Are we actually looking at the flat height or the maximum tilt height?
We would need to be I need to be approved for the maximum height. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Because isn't the tilt height, isn't that the more?
Yes, that would be the apex, right?
Yeah.
Is what you're saying. Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need it at its highest,
Right.
closest towards. son.
Max height is, full tilt is 35 feet. Okay.
So 35 feet is what you're looking at?
Yep.
What are we looking for? Are you looking for a motion?
No. Is there anyone that has any more questions?
No.
It's pretty self-explanatory.
Perfect. So then we'll go straight into the findings of facts, and then that will be what we base the approval or denial off of. Jim. It's the 10th today.
Crazy.
Yeah. Holidays go by so quickly.
Sure does.
Solar tracker exceeding. So if you guys want to follow along, the variance findings of fact is in that folder that the variance application's in as well. So I'll just read the criteria for granting variances, and then I'll ask the questions, and then you three will reply with a yes or no. So variances may be granted, and then Brianna, you don't have to write all this down. Just say Alex reads the findings of fact. Variances may be granted when the applicant for the variance establishes that there are practical difficulties in complying with the zoning ordinance. A variance may be granted only in the event that the following circumstances exist. Exceptional or extraordinary circumstances apply to the property which do not apply generally to other properties in the same zone or vicinity and result from lot size or shape, topography, or other circumstances over which the owners of the property since enactment of this ordinance have had no control. The literal interpretations of the provision of this ordinance would deprive the applicant of rights commonly enjoyed by other properties in the same district under the terms of this ordinance. The special conditions or circumstances do not result from the actions of the applicant. That there is a practical difficulty in this application is not solely in economic consideration. The practical difficulty in this application is not solely in economic consideration. That granting the variance requested will not confer on the applicant any special privilege that is denied by this variance to owners of other land, structures, or buildings in that same district. The variance requested is the minimum variance which would alleviate the practical difficulty. The variance would not be materially detrimental to the purpose of this ordinance or to the property in the same zone. And in the floodplain district, no variance may be granted, which permits a lower degree of protection than the regulatory flood protection elevation. So going straight into the findings of fact, question 1, is the variance request a substantial variation from the requirements of the zoning ordinance?
That would be no, right?
Correct. Heidi?
No.
Okay. Question 2. Will the variance request have an adverse effect on government services?
No.
Heidi?
No.
Question 3. Will the variance request cause a substantial change in the character of the neighborhood, or will it result in substantial detriment to neighboring properties?
No.
No.
Heidi? Okay. Question 4. Is there another feasible method to alleviate the need for a variance?
No.
Lindsay?
No.
Heidi?
So,
No. Did you hear me?
Yep. Let's see. I always like to put a findings in there. I would, or a reason why, in case people question it. I think in this case, it would be,
The fact there was already a wind tower there before,
yeah,
or windmill.
yeah, I was pretty, yeah. This is I would say this is a unique technology that doesn't fit with our ordinance. Ordinance. Question 5. Did the landowner create the need for a variance?
No.
No. Lindsay.
I didn't hear that. Can
Oh.
you say it again?
Did the landowner create the need for the variance?
No.
Heidi?
No,
In light of all the above factors, which action would better serve the interests of justice? Granting the variance or denying the variance?
Granting.
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 Let's see here. So now I would ask for a motion to, or I would ask you to ask for a motion, because I'm not a board member. So one of you guys has to ask for a motion to approve the variance or deny the variance.
I'll make a motion to approve the variance.
Is there a second?
Second.
I'll
Okay.
second it.
Okay. Let's got it. All those in favor to approve the motion to grant the variance?
Aye.
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 All those opposed? And it looks like the motion is approved. Would there be any kind of would you want any conditions on this variance?
What are the ones you normally do, Alex?
I don't usually do any conditions on variant. Well, each variance is a different kind of circumstance, so we don't normally do like conditions, but we can if we want to. I don't know if there really is any need to.
I think it's laid out.
I don't feel we
Personally.
need to.
Okay,
I think it's laid out very well.
perfect.
Very well explained.
Okay, so based on the application, based on the information, and I guess I didn't open it up to public comment technically, but just for the minutes to say there wasn't anyone here from the public that had a comment on it. No one called in
And you
either.
didn't receive anything by email either?
Nope, I didn't receive any calls or comments or anything like that. So just make sure that's in the minutes. Yeah, with that, I think I'll have one of you guys motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion. Oh, I'll second.
Okay.
There we go.
Yeah,
It's motion
solar
and
Indy.
seconded.
I want some of these at my house.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? All right. This meeting is adjourned. You guys are good to go. I'll get the building permit ready for you. I think everything's paid up from the Ken. Yeah, everything's paid up.
That was
All
part of our contract that obviously that
Yep.
he can take care of all the permitting and I think that's typically the way he does his projects, so to make sure everything's
That's a good way to do it, though. I think the contractor should be kind of in charge of doing that every time. 'Cause
well, they're kind of used to the process and
So Heidi, I'll let you go. I'll maybe stop by her office and get some signatures from you then.
Okay. Sounds good.
Thanks, Heidi.
Yeah. Thank you. Sorry about that.
No problem. See ya.
Bye.
So do you have cattle out there, Jim?
cattle, no.
No
We-
cattle.
We've got some hogs, yeah.
I said it'd make nice shade in the summertime for them too.
You know what? They're starting to use them especially at dairies, and you see a lot of the feedlots putting in some sun, especially with all the black cattle, right?
Yeah, that's all we run is Black Angus. So
Yep.
I was looking at that and I'm like, oh, that'd be really nice for them in the summertime. They all
Yeah.
huddle underneath one
Well,
little
you're
tree.
starting to see
Mhm.
some sun production in open lots. But
Oh yeah.
I don't know what, you probably might know that. I don't know what percent of the cattle are under roof versus out in open lots, but it seems like there's more and more
Mhm.
probably.